Da 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 da! Today, let's finish up this romper. We're going to start with the shorts back. Now, the shorts back and front are fairly similar. You want to always start by putting in your darts first. You can always use a pin to mark the apex of your dart onto the fabric. That way you know what to sew towards. Here we will sew the back shorts together. Don't sew them all the way closed. You're going to start at the notch that you made when you cut out your pattern pieces and back and forth that stitch a lot. That will be also where the stress of your zipper ends. So we want to make sure that it's really secure. And this is what the bottom of the shorts look like. Now we'll attach the top part. So matching your side seams and the center back seams, go ahead and match them at the darts and begin sewing across. This is pretty easy assembly. There you go. And you'll want to go in and zigzag and serge that interior seam as well, just to finish it off and make sure it doesn't fray. To attach a zipper, if you haven't done this before, I'm using an invisible zipper and I use my invisible zipper foot. And you see I've left quite a bit of seam allowance in there. So starting at the top, and if you remember back in the previous, we had not hemmed that all the way, and this is why. So we'll match the top of the zipper to the top of the back there and just begin sewing all the way down, and you'll sew into that seam allowance as you get towards the bottom there. By into the seam allowance, I mean you'll sew the zipper continuing into the seam allowance about an inch or an inch and a half. From here, kind of triangularly fold the top of the zipper and then fold the fabric over it towards you and stitch down. This may require a little bit of practice, but that's totally okay. You'll get it, I promise. And then you flip it out and it looks like this, which is a bit cleaner and nicer. I prefer it. Now to attach the other side, you're going to zip the zipper all the way up, zipping in your seam allowance, as you see I did there. Don't do that. And I like to pin where my center seams meet. And that way, if I do get off track a bit, at least I can correct myself as I'm nearing where that pin mark is. And that also ensures that those seams meet. Now, only zipping a few inches past where you stopped sewing the one side, you kind of have to eyeball and finagle so that it looks super even, and then you simply start sewing the other side of the zipper, starting inside the seam allowance, past where that stitch is. And you go all the way up. And again, if you have lined this up correctly, you shouldn't have any gapping or anything happening between the fabric and the zipper as you meet that pin. And then you continue on up till the top of the garment there. And then you repeat the same closure process as you did on the other side. From here, simply reach through and grab the top of your zipper stop and pull it up, and it should match perfectly. And as you can see, it makes the bottom align correctly there so that there's no gapping, and it truly is invisible. Ooh. I like to clean up the tails of my zipper by cutting a few inches of the excess off there, and unfortunately I failed to film this part, but you wrap it with a piece of fabric and it looks like that. And it reduces it being scratchy. So let's do the shorts front. Same as the back. Start with the darts, and the difference with assembling the shorts that you'll notice right away, beyond putting the darts in, is that you sew the entire front of the shorts together. You don't leave any space for a zipper. There's no zipper in this particular pattern. So starting at the waist front, sew all the way down that curve and to the crotch. That's how the front looks. Super cute. And to attach the front and the back, important here is start at that middle center front seam. You want to match those. You don't want the top to be askew from the bottom. And you can pin it and then walk it to the edge. If you've cut everything correctly and did all your darts correctly, there should be no overhang. Again, if you're newer to sewing and there's a little bit, it's okay. Just make sure that front center, those center seams match. And then go in later and zigzag or serge it together to clean it up. To attach the sides, start with by opening up that front facing, and where I've just pointed to, you want to meet the top of your side front and the top of your side back and start stitching there. Keep that facing piece out of the way. We'll get back to it here in just a minute. But yes, go ahead and sew all the way down the sides. Match your side seams if possible. Truly, if you're a perfectionist, you're going to want those to meet. If you're newer to sewing, don't be too hard on yourself if it's a little bit off. And now simply take the rest of that facing, flip it over the back end, and stitch it down again. And as you can see here in just a bit, you will flip that out and it will look really, really pretty. The next step is joining the crotches together. So again, this is where you're going to want to meet in those center seams and walk it out to the edge where you need to start sewing. As the wording above says, sewing a crotch is the finest time to thank all my Patreons. It's been nearly a year since I've started this, and it's been just a joy to make all of these cool videos for you. And look, if you are this far along in this romper, you should be so proud of yourself because look how cute it's coming along. It's pretty much done. We just need to make some choices about what to do with the leg hem. You can do a simple one fold hem. So you will finish the edges there and just fold it under, press it and stitch it. Or you can do a double fold, which is you fold it once, fold it twice, press it and hem. I'm choosing to do something a little wacky and using elastic. I don't know what the proper name for this is. It's almost bathing suit-like, but I also think of it kind of like a diaper. A sexy mermaid romper diaper. Oh, I don't know. That's terrible. If you were following along with the wording there, I took and made 2 elastic loops, roughly a comfortable fit around my thigh, and I am sewing the edges together on the inside. From here, you will flip it over and straight stitch it all around. The key is to pull the elastic while you are stitching it just there, and really important to pull it while you're sewing here. This will allow that straight stitch to flex and stretch as you're moving about your day or changing in and out of this. The final step coming up is the halter strap, and you'll need to put on your romper and measure how long and where you want the halter strap to be. And once you have that, just stitch one side. And on the other side, I like to put a snap. That way it's easy to get in and out of without having to duck my head through a strap and all that. Thank you so much. This concludes the Mermaid Romper. Special shout out to Charm Patterns and Miss Fluff for this fabric and Charm Patterns for the awesome pattern. See you next time.